Maggie, um, why don't you tell me a little bit? I know we've sort of had some correspondence on Bigger Pockets and through email. From what I recall, you sort of found the RE Tipster blog. Was it like a year ago, or how long ago did you come across that?
It's been, I want to say like late summer, last summer.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess so, almost a year.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And what was it you were looking for exactly? Like, were you just looking for more financial freedom, or were you interested in, like, why were you interested in real estate specifically?
Well, it all started back when we got our first house in Indiana. We lived up in South Bend, Indiana by Notre Dame area. And it's funny, I was newly married and my husband saw a commercial. It's like, record low interest rates, now's the time to buy. And we're like, all right, whatever, let's get a house, you know?
Yeah.
That's just like the next step kind of thing to do. And so we bought a foreclosure, and that foreclosure, when we sold it, we made 20 grand. And so I was like, whoa, like there's something to this. And we didn't really go in kind of planning to do that, but we really got bitten by the real estate bug, so to speak. And we're like, dude, we're going to do this again and then again and then again. And so what led me to your blog, actually, because I've been on Bigger Pockets for a while, but I was really looking into like delinquent tax properties and like, how do I get them? How do I market to them? Like I was super like in diapers, so to speak, like when it comes to wholesaling and like, you know, trying to find off-market properties and whatnot. And so, you know, I'm on Bigger Pockets and I'm like, you know, searching in the forums, delinquent tax. And then someone's like, oh, you got to check out Seth's blog, you know, about delinquent tax sales. And I'm like, who's this guy? You know, so I found you on Bigger Pockets, and I'm really glad that I did. And you linked me to that blog post, and it helped immensely. I was just like, my mind was blown. You know, I'd never heard about a lot of that stuff before. Like, you know, Agent Pro 24/7. And then I just started like just watching all of your videos, reading a bunch of your blog posts, and I was just like, dude, like I'm gonna do this. Like I'm gonna do this, and I can do it. And you know, I think everything seems kind of like easy on the surface. But then there's so many kind of questions that come up. And so that's why like your blog was just like, yes, like it was exactly what I needed at the right time in my life. So
that is awesome. No, that's really great to hear. Now I'm curious, how did the whole idea of delinquent tax people, like how did that ever occur to you? Did you hear about that from somebody?
Okay, that's a great question, actually. Yeah, my husband, he works in HVAC. And so he's always going around to properties, meeting investors, talking to people, and just trying to like network and whatnot. And so there was this one person that he met with, and he's like, yeah, man, I got this before it went to the auction. You know, he's like this super cool guy. And he's like, yeah, I got it for, I don't remember how much it was, but it was something stupid, cheap. And he's like, I got it before it went to the tax sale. I was like, what? How do you even find out about it? You know, I was like, I don't understand. Like, you just, I've been knocking around on doors, like, you know, because those properties are pretty busted looking typically. Like, I'd say the ones that I've seen that I've been kind of chasing, so to speak, that are like 4 years delinquent. Because in Tennessee, you have like 4 years delinquent before your property goes to tax sale. So, auction. And so he told me about that experience. And I'm like, how the heck did you get it before the tax auction? And then I started looking at like the counties around me. So like Hamilton County, where I live in Tennessee, and then like Catoosa, Walker, you know, these counties in Georgia. And then I was like looking into properties, and it's crazy how all of this was orchestrated, because I looked up one of the properties on the tax sale and actually saw a video on YouTube with this guy walking through it. And I'm like, what? I don't even understand. Like, how the heck did he get in there? It hasn't even gone to sale yet. You know, all these questions kind of arose. I contacted that guy, and he was a wholesaler. And then so that's kind of how it all began. And I started learning and reading and podcasting and everything, just like consuming all the information I could. Yeah, I mean, So the guy who made that video, thankfully he was super cool and willing to share a lot of information with me and promised me that if I brought him a deal that we would split it 50-50.
Okay.
And so I was super motivated to do that. And I did it.
Mm-hmm.
And my life was just like changed ever since. So,
man, that is so cool. I know we've mentioned the delinquent tax list, and I think you had told me in an earlier email, the first one you got was just like a total mess to work through and make sense of that.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like you've also been using Agent Pro 24/7. Is that for lists specifically, or is that for property research, or what have you been using that for?
Lists specifically, yeah. And so I use that one, but Agent Pro only has the delinquent taxes for like 1 year. And so, but it was great because it's just like packaged so nicely and just like delivered to you, you know?
Yeah.
So that was great. But yeah, the one for my county was like a mess. Yeah. I actually had a VA help me make sense of it and, you know, organize it. And so I actually, because it's mixed with like commercial properties. I mean, just like a little bit of everything that you don't really need.
Sure.
That I didn't need, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, now that you have, I assume you've done some mail campaigns with both that kind of list and the more, you know, specifically filtered Agent Pro kind of list. Like you've tried both methods at this point. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I used the list from the county that took me, seriously, it took me almost a month to get through. Because, I mean, I wasn't doing it full time, working through it. I was working through it myself and had the VA help me. But, so I don't know if I'd recommend that again. Like if your county has a janky list, it's like it's gonna take you like hours to go through. I don't even recommend doing that. Yeah. Like hindsight, it just probably wasn't the best use of my time. But it was a good experience, good learning experience, and I was able to get, you know, access to properties that I knew were tax delinquent before other people did. You know, so that was cool.
Now, I'm curious, like, have you found, was there a better response rate or acceptance rate with the delinquent tax list, or has it been kind of the same regardless of which lists you work with, or where do you get the best results from?
Honestly, it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. And I started focusing really on the ones who were going to lose their house this summer, you know, if they didn't pay their taxes off or sell their house or whatever. And what I found with that group of people is that there's some denial there. There's some mental health issues. I mean, it's kind of like there's a reason why they're 4 years delinquent. In the cases that I was finding. Some of them were just, you know, it was actually the land ones that they were like out of state and they just like didn't care. But yet they wanted a lot for it. You know, one of those kind of things. So I guess to sum up, I haven't really noticed that getting better deals from getting like more phone calls and more like, you know, noise from it, so to speak, from the delinquent tax list versus absentee owner list that I've been doing.
So I guess one question, are you sending out postcards to people, or what kind of mail piece are you sending out?
Yeah, postcards. And then I've done some letters too. They've been more like in-house, you know. I'll like write a letter and then I'll make like, so it's handwritten, but I'll make a lot of photocopies and then I'll get it like folded. So I'm not sitting here folding all of it because that takes forever. And I did that just because I had like a bunch of like yellow letters, so to speak, like on hand, like the actual paper for it. So I was like, oh, I'll just do it myself. But yeah, mainly postcards. And I've tried, I've done click to mail and Go Big printing, and love Go Big. They're the bomb. I mean, they set it up so it's like a set it and forget it kind of a deal. And they'll mail your list, you know, really how frequent you want them. But I was doing like every 4 weeks. So
sure. So you're hitting the same list how many times?
I did 4 times. 4 times. I'd like to do more, but it's just kind of like what my budget affords right now. 4 times.
Is that like once a month or once every couple of weeks, or how frequently is that?
Yeah, once a month.
Okay.
Yep.
And I assume does each mail piece say something different, like, or is it all like literally just the exact same copy from the one before?
Yeah, it is something different. Kind of like the same idea, same message,
Yeah.
just said a little differently, different font and different
Sure.
layout and stuff like that. Some are more simple than others. I found like when I did the postcard that had that was the most wordy, I did the poorest of all of them. So I'm like, man, you just keep it simple and all the words, it's not really doing any favors.
So you don't, so like all four of them don't say final notice, because that would kind of like,
right. Yeah.
Interesting. So curious, like how many pieces of mail have you found you've had to send out to get one deal?
Okay.
Maybe run the numbers on that, but.
Yeah, that is a really interesting question, because when I first started this, I got my first deal after sending 600 postcards.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh man, that's so awesome. Like I barely had to send any to get my first deal. Mm-hmm. And then as of recently, I've sent, let me see here. Yeah, 2,400 and from this last batch that I've done over the last few weeks. And I actually wasn't able to close a deal from that 2,400. So I got a lot of phone calls, like a lot of response, but just nothing has been able to actually work out for one reason or the other. I mean, there's, one reason or the other. Yeah. So, I mean, from, 500-600 postcards to now I've sent, 2,400 and I haven't closed a deal from that. So I had to kind of adjust my expectations, because in the beginning I'm like, this is like the easiest thing I've ever done to make money. And then it's like, oh man, shoot, I've had to send a ton of postcards and I still haven't gotten a deal. So I did have to adjust my expectations a bit. So if I had to throw a number out there, I'd have to say maybe, 1,000 to 1,500 on average before I get a deal from it.
Yeah. Okay. So would you say that first one where you got to deal with 600 mail pieces, was that just like luck, do you think?
I think it was a little beginner's luck. I think that almost I needed something to keep me going,
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously I just started, so it's not like I was going to give up or anything like that, but it's like I needed that win to be like a proof of concept, to be like, this works. Yeah. And holy crap, this is awesome, and that did it for me. And so after that, I was just like, yes, like I've just started sending. I throw up my budget aloud, and I just started sending direct mail back in September, and I've actually only closed 3 deals so far. But those 3 deals is more than I take home in an entire year in my day job, Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty incredible. So I'm like, okay, I have to kind of give myself that grace, because I feel like it's easy to compare yourself to others, and especially, I'm in Facebook groups and wholesaling groups, and people are like, oh yeah, I'm doing 2 a week, and I'm just like, it's all right, this is where I'm at right now, and it's okay. It's okay. So
yeah, I hear you. I know it's really tough to not compare yourself with others. It's hard to even know what normal is, because everybody starts from a different place and different budgets, and honestly, like I think it was Paul Newman who once said that, like, anybody who's accomplished anything great or had great success in life, like, nobody can say they haven't had at least a little bit of luck in the process.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, I think as much as a person wants to think like it's just because I'm awesome, like, I don't know. I think there's just a little bit of luck going on there. I think there's things you can do to increase your luck for sure, but it's still sort of luck.
You send those postcards out. I don't want to say blindly, because you pull your list and you make sure it's the right list and all that kind of stuff. But you send it out and you're just like, what's going to come back? Like, you just don't know. And so when it makes sense, all the numbers make sense, and you find a buyer and all that kind of stuff. I really feel like I'm super lucky. Yeah. Because there's so many things that can kind of go wrong in the process. Whether that one person who called you and the numbers work, there's no liens, there's no. I mean, and it's fine if there's liens. Like, what I want to do is truly like solve these people's problems. Sometimes there's too many liens to even make sense. You can't even sell it for the price that we're looking at. So that's kind of what we've run into so far. Is a lot of these properties will get under contract and we find out there's like so many judgments against the property, like they need to sell it for like twice as much, you know. So the numbers just don't work out. But yeah.
So basically, this has been like house wholesaling. Does that mean, are you buying these properties outright and then you're reselling them, or are you like assigning contracts to other buyers?
Yeah, so a little bit of both. I purchased one myself, and the other two I've wholesaled. So first one I did, super new at it, and the guy, you know, who I reached out to, truthfully, like walked me through the entire process. I was super grateful. I'm still so grateful for him. And we split that deal, and from the very moment of going to meet the seller, it's like kind of like you have to fake it until you make it kind of a thing. I'm like, be confident, like you can do this, you know, pat talking on the way over there. And then finding the buyer, that was just like, it took like a couple of weeks. It was awesome. And then my second deal, bought that house outright. It was in a really like super hot location in Chattanooga. And I was just like, oh yeah, this is going to be awesome. So bought that. I actually borrowed like $10,000 from my parents, and I'm like, I'll pay you back, I promise. You know, so yeah, I bought that house and sold it just a few weeks later. And I made $40,000 on that.
Wow,
it was just like, it's addicting. I was just like, yes. It's like there's no going back. Like once you do it once, you can't not do it.
Yeah, when you know how good something can be, it's like, why would you not keep running after that? It's just awesome.
Yeah, even if it takes like the next 3 months, 6 months to find, you know, that quality of deal again. I mean, keep going, you know. And then so my third deal, I made $7,000 assignment fee or wholesale fee, and I found the buyer for that in like 4 days, and super quick turnaround time. It was awesome. And
where'd you find that buyer from?
Man, Craigslist.
Craigslist.
Okay, Craigslist has been, it's been really good. You know, I'll throw stuff up on Facebook Marketplace too, but I find out that's just like it's just a lot of noise. I mean, so many people write you who aren't really qualified to buy cash. So, and it's kind of more stressful than anything throwing it up on Facebook. But Craigslist has been great. Yeah, I mean, so far so good.
Now I know with houses, and I know this based on my experience and also just hearing other household sellers talk about it, there can just be a lot of different complications, and just like everything under the sun can go wrong, whether you're talking about the people involved or the title history or the house itself. What kinds of surprises have you come across? I know like wholesaling sort of seems like a simple concept, but when you actually get into most businesses, you realize, oh, right, okay, I guess that's not simple at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, what kind of surprises have you encountered so far?
Oh man. So say I send a postcards to a house, and somebody who isn't the actual owner calls me because maybe somebody passed away or the property's in a trust. And so like the trust agent, you know, because you can't really, how do I find the trustee? And then what if there's several? And then, you know, like all that kind of stuff of who the actual person is to sell it. Oftentimes you're talking to somebody else, you know, and they're not really in the loop of all the stuff going on. So by the time you submit everything to title, and it can get to be a mess. So there's that. But yeah, if there's like judgments against it, because remember, like these properties we're mailing, they're truly motivated sellers. Like they got stuff going on. There's liens, there's maybe the county mowed the lawn for the last year and a half. And so there's all these like against it. But yeah, or it's locked up in probate, or there's a few different things. Yeah, the one I'm going through right now, I've been chasing this one since last October, and it's owned by a trust, and the owner is in a mental hospital, and it's just like reaching the people in a timely manner that you need to get it done. And I think that's the most difficult, is like just reaching the right people that you need to make it happen.
So if somebody's in a mental hospital, I mean, does that mean the deal is kind of just stuck then because they can't sign because they're I had a deal like that one time too, where I was, it's an awesome, like 20-acre property in Virginia. And there was the owner was like senile or something. Like, I can't remember if it was dementia or Alzheimer's or something, but he was still alive and he owned it. But because of that, like legally, he couldn't agree to sign anything because his like mental capacity could be called into question. Like, oh, he didn't actually mean to do that. He didn't know what he was doing.
Right.
So with somebody's in a mental hospital, does that same sort of thing apply? Or
well, with this one, because it's actually owned by like the trust, then we should be able to do it. It's just like getting people to call you back. And this one's actually 4 years delinquent. So it's totally going to get just taken away from them. They're not going to get a penny. So I'm like, let me give you something, please. It'll be a win-win, I promise. Yeah, just kind of building that rapport with the family. We met like the granddaughter of this individual, and they don't really have any stake in it or can't really make decisions. And it's just, it's hard because you see, this property that, again, is in a super hot part of the county. And it's like, I want it so bad. And it's like right there. And it's just going to get taken away by the county if they don't sell it to you. It's like you're doing the county a favor because they don't want it just sitting there for another year, for that ratification period. And so it's tough. Yeah, working with trusts. And that's something I really want to learn more about, is how to reach these people, how to get the information that I need to get, to make it easier for me.
How often does it happen where you like get mail returned to you? Like you can't actually track down the person who owns the property. Is that a common thing you've encountered?
Yeah, like all the time. Oh yeah, all the time. And I'll try and skip trace them. And I've just used Spokio, like nothing super serious. And then, call the phone numbers and try and track down some relatives. And I haven't really had any success with that yet. I've spoken to a few people using that method, and they said, oh, they just sold us. Dang, too late. A little too late. So, which shows me that it's a good method. You just got to be, the person that calls them, kind of a deal. Yeah, I get quite a bit of return mail. Some they'll be written like vacant on them, or insufficient address or whatever.
Have you gotten a realtor or real estate agent involved with any of these deals on any level?
Yeah, I have. When I bought that one that I made like $40K on, I had a realtor list that for me on the MLS, and he suggested, and I'm glad that I went with him, because if you put it on the MLS, it's going to be before so many eyes. And you can put it on Craigslist, and it's just Craigslist, and so I actually sent that property out to my cash buyers list, and he saw it from somewhere. Someone knew him and shared it with him. And he recommended, he's like, I don't even think I'm just wanting your commission from this, because of course he'd get something, but he really thought I could get more if I, were to put it on the MLS. And I really think he was right. And it was great because I didn't have to deal with the showings, or I didn't really have to deal with any of that stuff. Because I do work full time, and so it's nice to have him, kind of part of my team going forward if I need a super investor friendly. He actually wholesales properties too and flips houses, and so that's why I was really grateful to find him, and I don't mind paying him a commission to do that for me. So especially when the spread is so good.
So you're working full time. It sounds like you're kind of in a situation that most people are in when they start getting into real estate. Do you just find that you have to do all this work like on nights and weekends, or like are you able to do that effectively, or does that get frustrating where you need to do something midday and you can't do it, or how have you been?
Yeah, it's definitely a struggle, especially because I love my job. Actually, I work at a university and I recruit transfer students and talk to them about their goals and all that kind of stuff. I really enjoy it, but there's definitely all day, every day. It's there's just truly no freedom in that long term. And so, there'll be days where I'm just like, man, I just want to do real estate today. Can I just please sit home in my sweatpants and just do this? Yeah. I'd rather, make all my phone calls and schedule my next campaigns. And I love that kind of stuff. So there's definitely a little disconnect right now, but I'm also understanding that this is where I'm at right now and accepting it and just being, and but still pushing. So I'm not always going to have to be in that position, but yeah, nights and weekends. I actually had a good friend of mine. She started taking my phone calls for me because I just couldn't. I'm at work and there's a student in my office and my phone's ringing and I'm like, oh, what do I do? Obviously I didn't answer the phone, But I realized I needed some help for sure.
Yeah.
To answer my calls, and she's great. So
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so like if you're working full time, you definitely, I mean, at least in my experience, like you need help, because what if a prospective buyer, what if a buyer wants to see a place at 3 p.m. on a Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
I'm at work until 5:30, and I don't want to lose that momentum with them, and I want to make sure that we're available for them, so we can kind of gain a reputation that we're there for them and we can make it happen. So yeah, having help has been imperative.
Mm-hmm. I'm totally familiar with that. Just those constraints of trying to manage your full-time duties versus your other full-time thing. but it's tough. I know. In terms of like getting a good real estate agent, has that been hard to find a good one? Or because I know some agents are awesome, some of them are just awful.
Right.
Have you sort of tried several, or did you sort of luck out and find a good one on your first try?
Oh, I totally lucked out. Yeah, totally lucked out. The thing is, like, I'm a part of the RIA here in Chattanooga too, and part of like different investor groups on Facebook for like local investors and stuff. And so it's really easy to find like, hey guys, I need a plumber, or hey, you guys know an electrician? Like, my AC just went down. What do I do? Kind of I'd call my husband because he does that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I say like, don't be afraid to ask. If there's any advice I could offer, is just like ask the right questions. Like, don't stop asking questions. That's the only way you're going to get anywhere, really. And just to find, especially like the best people for your team, like to find this realtor. Thankfully he reached out to me, but I had heard of him before because he's active in our groups and in our like Facebook groups, and he's gone to the RIA, things like that. So yeah, ask for referrals for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you mentioned earlier that you've got a cash buyers list that you're building. What are you using to do that? Like, do you have a website set up through someone? Or is there an email? Like, is it mostly emails you're collecting or phone numbers?
Yeah, emails.
How does that all work? Okay.
Yeah, so I use Lead Propeller, and I set up a website there, and I think they have like three sites for one price, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I essentially, whenever I would have a new property that I was trying to wholesale, that's how I found my buyers. Because I would always say, on Craigslist, like, if this doesn't meet your investing criteria, attention of investors, house flippers, cash buyers, whatever, like, if this isn't what you're looking for, just join my list, because next week, hopefully, I'll have something new to share. And so, yeah, so I've got over 150 now. I'd say probably only maybe 15 to 20 are like the, real deal active investors here locally. But even people like from Nashville, even Miami, like there's so many people looking for properties here in this area. It's definitely a growing area.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a lot of interest from all over the place.
Sure.
But yeah, Craigslist again, or like if I'd listed property on Facebook Marketplace, or in our investing groups, I'd include the link there, for where to join the list.
Mm-hmm. It's never a bad idea to build a buyer's list. I mean,
yeah.
I assume so. None of the sales you've done so far have been to that buyer's list yet. Is that correct? Or
that's actually right. Yeah. So I've got that list, and when I get a new property under contract, I'll send it out to them. But yeah, it's just been one on the MLS, and then the other two from Craigslist.
All it takes is a couple active, serious investors on that buyer's list, and like your job is going to get really easy, really quick.
Yeah, totally.
I'm just curious, like, did you ever have you had long-term aspirations to be an entrepreneur, or is this something you kind of just like fell into as you were making these different discoveries about real estate? You sound like you're a natural at it, like you're really good at this kind of stuff.
Well, I love it. Yeah, I really love it. And it's not even like the money. It really isn't the money. It's just like, you kind of need money to have the freedom that you want. And so it kind of does become about the money, I guess, in a roundabout way. But from a very young age, I've always been like super entrepreneurial. I used to make like dog collars and doggy bow ties, and I'm like obsessed with my dogs, so they're like my best friends. No, they're great. But yeah, like little collar flowers, like little accessories for dogs and stuff, and dog bed. And so I'd have an Etsy shop, and all that kind of thing. But I realized from that I was working really hard
Yeah.
to make like $20 a collar. I even had at one time like a factory helping me make my collars, and I had them in like local pet shops and stuff. So that was really fun. And when I moved to Tennessee from Indiana, kind of shut that down, so to speak. There's a number of reasons, but what I learned is like I was working so hard just to make like $20. And then when I started learning more about real estate, and I'm a landlord too, so I also have some rental property, it was so easy to make much more than that.
Yeah.
And there's months that go by where I don't even have to do like seriously anything to my properties and just collect rent.
Yeah.
So yeah, as far as like long-term goals, I mean, I turned 32 in May, and I've just told myself, you know, by the time I'm 40, I'd like to have, you know, at least 20 units, and that would be more than enough to replace my salary and then some. And I would just love to be able to manage my properties and hang out, travel, volunteer, spend time with, you know, my brother. I have a duplex right now. My brother lives in a lower unit. I help take care of him and stuff. And, you know, my parents are retiring down here, and we're actually not planning on having kids ourselves, but I think that family is like so important, and just having the time and the flexibility and freedom to just do what really excites you, you know? Yeah. And when you're working full time, it's really hard. It's really hard to do that. It's really hard to have that balance. And, you know, it sounds silly, but, you know, I'd love to go to, say, like an amusement park on a Tuesday at 10 a.m. and there's no lines or whatever, you know, just being able to decide what I do with my time is like my dream. So.
Yeah, it is completely possible, and you can totally do it. I know what you mean though. Like I remember vividly for years thinking like, man, is this even really a thing? Like, can I ever actually do this? But like, you totally can. You just got to keep plugging away at what works, and you'll get there. It's just a matter of time.
No, totally. I mean, just the experience with just like the last few months in September, I made what I made an entire year, and I'm like, holy crap, like I'm just going to do this again and again and again. So I could buy all those rental properties and be like, peace. You know, like, I love you guys, but I'm retiring at 40, you know, from the 9 to 5 kind of a deal. So I look forward to that day, and definitely. And that's the cool thing with wholesaling is I've always loved like the hunt. Like I love searching, looking, kind of doing like the investigating kind of thing. But I don't necessarily want to buy it myself, you know? I just pass those savings on to one of my buyers, and it's awesome. So, yeah, I love the hunt. It's really cool and interesting. What really got me interested in wholesaling, because I've always been interested in real estate investing since I can remember. But with wholesaling, I always thought it was like a hassle. I was like, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I didn't really get it. And then the house that we're living in now, we were looking for probably like at least like 6 months for a property closer to my job. And I found this property on Craigslist. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're coming right now. Like, don't talk to anybody else. Yeah. But I came out to it, and we ended up buying it. And we bought it for 82. And we found out that the investor, who's a wholesaler, he bought it for 49. And I was like, what the heck? Like, there's no going back. Like, I'm doing that, and I'm never buying anything full price like ever again. Yeah. So, and that's what like really got the wheels turning. And here I am. Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard the concept of buying a house for $1,000, and like it just seemed so outlandishly ridiculous. Like why would you even say that? That's just like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But then the guy that was explaining it to me was like, well, you know, how many offers have you made for $1,000? Because if you don't make any offers for $1,000, you're never going to buy anything for $1,000. So it's really just a matter of like, you never know until you make the offer and you find out. Once you realize like what's possible, like you realize how small the average person thinks, or just how like, not how small, but like how limited they think. Like, like so many people just assume certain things aren't possible, but it's like, man, you just got to try. You got to try. I need to be blown.
Yep. So true. Yeah. I imagine like what would happen if I never had reached out to that guy who made that video walkthrough, because it's scary. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know this dude. He doesn't know me. Is he going to even be willing to talk to me about it? Because sometimes it's like investors, they don't want to like share their secrets and share their secret sauce. Yeah. But thankfully he had an abundance mindset and he was like, yeah, I'll drop some knowledge on you. I'm like, okay, I'll take it. So I think about that all the time. Like, what if and I'm using that as like a lesson to myself. Like, what if I didn't just reach out like one Facebook message, or like, what if I did, And so I just, moving forward from that experience, like I never want to have to say that. Like, what if I didn't? Like, I just want to do it. Just do it. Yeah. It's scary. It's uncomfortable. Just do it. Cause I'm kind of introverted by nature, so it doesn't really come naturally to, like the whole networking thing and all that kind of stuff. But it's so necessary to get anywhere. We need each other.
Yeah, it's important to be bold and not be afraid to do things like that. I have so many of those hesitations myself. Like, even when it comes to like emailing somebody important, it's just like, man, they're not going to get this email. They're not going to respond.
Right.
Like, they're just going to think I'm dumb or whatever. But yeah, it's like, you just got to try, because unless you try, like, not trying is the only guaranteed way that you're never going to get anywhere.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And there's actually this quote. Oh, let me see if I can find it really quick. Oh, it's from the book, If You Can't Wholesale After This, I've Got Nothing For You.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a really easy, like, short read. It took me like, I don't know, like a day and a half. Okay, I found it. So it says, you can't look good and learn at the same time. Anytime that I'm trying something new, I remind myself of this and remind myself that whatever I might be scared of right now is a great sign that I should be doing that one thing, because it's what will get me to the next level in my business, in my life. And it's so true. So, like, especially when I first started this, and I still consider myself, new, like a new wholesaler. It's like, you can't learn and look good at the same time. And it's okay. Like, be okay with it. Like, it's uncomfortable. You're going to fumble on your words, whatever. But that's like the only way you're going to get to where you're going. And I have to remember that too. Yeah, I just love that quote. So good.
That is a very important concept to grasp, though, because I'll tell you, like, once you become an adult and you're like in the professional workforce, and you're supposed to look like you have everything together and like what you're doing and confident, and like there's a lot of pressure on us, whether we realize it or not, to not look like a fool. And you kind of have to just kick that out the door and be willing to look and feel dumb, because like it's gonna happen. Like you say, that's just part of learning.
Yeah, so it's totally happen.
It's very contrary to how a lot of us naturally think. I think. Those are all really good points, Maggie. I appreciate you sharing your experience and what you've been up to. Anybody out there who is interested in doing what you've been doing, or just getting into real estate at all, do you have any like other specific advice for them other than not being afraid to learn?
Yeah. Don't be afraid to learn, and just like stop waiting, because the time is going to go by no matter what. And actually on my desk, I have this calendar. A friend of mine, my coworker, got it for me. So cute Instagram dogs, obviously. And every day I rip a day off. So every day I'm ripping a day, and then it's Friday, and it's so like symbolic to me. And it's just like, don't wait, because time is flying. I don't know. It's just like the concept of time, like it's gonna go by no matter what. And don't wait. Like, just start now. Put yourself in the situation. Go to a RIA, join a Facebook group where you have like-minded people around you. And I would give the advice to do what I did, and just find somebody who's already doing it and say, hey, I'll split my first deal with you. I don't care how much it is. Like, I'll make more learning from you than not. For sure. So find someone who's already doing it and split the first deal.
Yeah, that's a super valuable investment, rather than just looking at money, just looking at what you're going to learn, because that'll for years and years to come.
Totally. Just, ask someone who's already doing it. It worked for me and a lot of other people too. So.
Well, Maggie, you don't have to do this by any means, but if people want to get a hold of you or learn more about you, is there any place they should go, or you have a website or anything? Or
yeah, you can check out one of my websites. It's just Riverhill RE for real estate. So riverhillre.com. And you can email me info@riverhillre.com. And yeah, that's one of my websites. And I use it to collect leads and also for buyers if they want to go and let me know what their investment criteria is too. Or find me on Facebook, Maggie Mendoza. Hopefully there's not too many Maggie Mendozas out there, but yeah. But yeah, I look forward to connecting with you. You know, if anyone has a question or anything like that, I'd be happy to answer.
Cool. Well, thanks again, Maggie. I appreciate it very much. I wish you all the best. Appreciate you sharing your experience, and we'll have to do this again in like a year or something. You can let us know about the other deals you've done and other things you've learned.
Yeah, totally. I'd love to.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, thank you, and talk to you later.
All right, talk to you later.